another great disappointing team. And this is probably, I would say this is worse than Philly. They're in a worse situation than Philly.
I'd say this is probably the second. You could either say the first or the second worst place to be in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
Maybe besides Brooklyn, who has no room to build at all because they've lost their first round picks.
Overpaying everybody too.
Well, they don't have a payroll anymore, but they don't have first round picks. The Lakers are in a garbage position and they have first round picks. This is how bad this is. This team is in about as bad of a place as they could possibly be. Now, let me just get one thing straight with you guys. This was always the plan. People act like this wasn't the plan. This was the plan. When Dwight Howard left, this was the plan. With all of Kobe's injuries, and with wanting Kobe to go out, you have to pay Kobe money.
Yeah.
Why? And he's injury prone. Why would you want to go and spend a lot of money to realistically go and get another star and overpay that star and put him next to Kobe while Kobe's diminishing returns are showing up?
You could try telling that to the Lakers fans who are still salty about the whole Chris Paul thing, though. But still, that. You know what? How long ago was that? That's 5 years ago.
That's 5 years, yeah. Look, that's something that's out of your control. You have to do the things that are in your control to win basketball games.
I would say outside of Julius Randle, D'Angelo Russell, and Jordan Clarkson, they have nobody on that team.
They have absolutely nothing that I would try to build around. There are a couple young.
You can guarantee after this year, Hibbert's gone.
Oh,
he's done.
Maybe done from the NBA.
Yeah, I mean,
the way that he's played. But I mean, Larry Nance is a half decently good piece. I mean, I'm just looking down here on the roster. Nick Young's going to be traded.
He has to be.
But there really aren't any young. I mean, Anthony Brown's an okay two-way player. But again, they really don't have anything that I would go and say, this is a good building piece. They have a handful of guys that are going to be building around, and they still have to put all these pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
But this was always the plan. This was always going to be the plan when Kobe, because you didn't know and you couldn't. Here's the thing: you couldn't actually assure that a free agent who was coming in. Somebody like LaMarcus Aldridge last year. You can't assure LaMarcus Aldridge that Kobe's going to be around.
No, you can't.
So isn't that kind of a hard sell for a GM? I mean, we put a lot of criticism on Buss, the guy who's he's the owner.
If there's one thing I'm really disappointed about, it's the owner. You know what?
But
I didn't.
But I was just saying
I
opposite.
I didn't expect this team to win at all.
No.
And you know what? That's the bad thing. And being as a guy that respects Kobe tremendously, for Buss to let this team be the way he is on his retirement year, it's disgraceful. All the work that Kobe's put in for this team through his entire career. It's just shameful, and it's a disgrace to him. It's like. I don't even know what it is. And you know what? They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, but
they really are not.
You know what?
I don't think they are.
I can't disagree with you more on that. I agree with the fact that they're going nowhere, but I cannot disagree with you more. Because Kobe, through nothing that he did, it was his injuries. His injuries put him in this position, okay? When he got that first shoulder injury, this is what set everything into motion. When you miss an entire season 3 times in a row, basically, this is what happens. Because they go through and they say, okay, we got to shut him down. Who's going to step up here? Who's going to step up? What free agents, besides guys that want to come and actually get minutes, what quality free agents are you ever going to get? This is 3 years in the making of this. People don't look at the timeline. People look now. I mean, they've gotten important pieces that a couple of really good pieces. Russell's a half-decent prospect. I'm really intrigued by what he brings.
Even a guy like Marcelo Huertas.
Actually, yeah.
He's not half bad for... Is he a starting point guard right now?
No.
For a backup guard?
Yeah.
I think
leading the team in assists.
Yeah.
Which isn't saying anything, but
yeah, this team's
he'd
horrible.
be about 15th on the regular teams.
Yeah, this if there's one thing a couple things. There's a lot of things this team can improve on.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing this team needs is a playmaker.
Absolutely.
They really need a playmaker. They're dead last in assists.
I feel like they've got pretty good. I feel like it's still the Kobe effect though. It's contagious.
To an extent.
I feel like it's contagious because Kobe doesn't really pass the ball and nobody else does. It's kind of it's follow the leader with that. D'Angelo Russell's a scoring guard. He's there to score the basketball. He scores a lot. And they've also got Jordan Clarkson, who's a scoring guard. So they've got a couple of really good scoring guards. But they need bigs to work with. Julius Randle's pretty good. He's still got a long way to go. He's still got a lot to learn. But they need another big. They need another big somewhere around
Obviously,
here.
Hibbert's not cutting it.
The Hibbert train has absolutely derailed. I think it's going the other way now. I think it's heading back to back east, and it's supposed to be going
I think
west.
he was honestly even better his rookie year.
Yeah, it just fell off. It just fell off a bridge somewhere in Utah because he never made it to Los Angeles with his game. But I mean, the little things like bringing Brandon Bass and Lou Williams in this year. Those were tiny moves. But those are guys. Brandon Bass is at the end of his career. He's on the waning years. He's gonna have a couple years left, but not very productive years. And Lou Williams is a great scorer. I thought that was the score but he's another scoring guard.
Yeah.
They need bigs to toss the ball to and play some pick and roll through. This problem has nothing to do with Kobe, and it's got nothing to do with the ownership. What are you supposed to tell a free agent that comes here? What are you supposed to tell Aldridge?
And you know what? I think one of the myths that happened a lot throughout all the earlier years of the NBA is that big time players want to go to big time markets. That's not.
This is gone.
That's
gone.
Far from.
Well, with the last CBA, that was true because with the last CBA and with the last TV deal, that was true. Big markets got more money. Small markets had to compete. But now that everybody's still increasing in this little facet here, these small market teams have money that they've never seen before. So they're going and they're keeping their draft picks. They're going in there and they're solidifying their teams. They're building teams like Toronto. They're building a team.
They're the ones that are getting the younger players.
Yeah.
Or the players that are in their prime.
Well, and then the big market guys lose out. And you see just the garbage and the atrocity that is the LA Lakers roster here. This is pathetic. And you can't really blame Byron Scott. What is he working with? He's really helped Clarkson, and he's really helped D'Angelo Russell. Yeah. Both of those guys are having fantastic second halves here.
Yeah,
They're very productive.
You know what? You kind of expected it from D'Angelo Russell, considering how
number
poor.
2 pick.
He's got to keep up somehow.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
Clarkson,
Clarkson
we gave him a lot of criticism at the beginning of the year for benching. Yeah. Byron Scott for benching Russell, because it's like, how is he gonna learn if Kobe's just playing the entire time?
You have to dish out some discipline though. You definitely have to discipline these younger guys.
This is a team that needs discipline.
They do. Well, no, I'd say they need prospects. And they need time to build. If they're actually serious about this,
they need more younger players.
They definitely do. I mean, looking through, I can name you plenty. Tariq Black isn't very good. Brandon Bass is an older guy. Anthony Brown's half decent. Kobe, Clarkson, Hibbert's a flippin' walking joke. Marcelo Huertas, he has some potential. Ryan Kelly is just tragic. Larry Nance, he's pretty good. He's a pretty good prospect. Yeah. Julius Randle's a great prospect. Russell's a great prospect. Robert Sacre is not a great prospect. Lou Williams.
I muttered that under my breath a little bit. I'm like, oh.
Why did you say
Robert Sacre is a great prospect? No, I didn't mean that.
Yeah, why did you say that? Yeah, no, he's not.
Oh,
and then you got Metta World Peace and Nick Young.
Yeah, those are all guys that are.
There are a lot of guys
probably
that I wouldn't. That I would.
Those
that
guys
are,
need to go
yeah,
if you want to rebuild.
Yeah,
You can't keep those guys around.
I just wonder who would trade for Nick Young at this point. Why would you want that burden of anything that he does? Why would you want that burden?
I think
this team is just a colloquial
nightmare. If there's guys you got to keep around on this team, I think Clarkson's one of them. I think, believe it or not, I don't think you keep Lou Williams.
Well, he has some trade value.
That's what I'm saying. You need.
That's fair.
He's the only guy that's, how old is he actually?
I think he's only, let's see, when was he born? He was born in 86, so what, he's 28 now? 27, 28?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the older guys.
Yeah, he's still in his prime. So he has plenty of trade value. Man, he would be a great sixth man on a lot of different teams.
He would.
He just about carried so much of what what Toronto was doing last year.
Mm-hmm.
He was a big part of why that was so successful.
I think the guys that you definitely have to keep on this team, though, if you're wanting to build for the future with young guys,
yeah,
it's Clarkson.
Yep.
It's Russell.
Absolutely.
It's Randall. Mm-hmm. And it's Larry Nance.
Yeah.
And maybe throw in Marcelo Huertas in there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if anything, he's a half decently cheap contract.
Yeah.
And he's a crafty player. He's a low risk. I mean, it works. It just works.
If I'm Jim Buss, though, the rest of those guys, they're disposable.
Oh, they're disposed.
I mean,
not even.
They're
not really
not
an able in
They're
there.
not
They're
even.
Just disposed.
They're not even performing on a bad team.
No, they're not performing. Period.
If you're not performing on a bad team, you're not gonna make it in this league. Period.
Some of these guys shouldn't be in the league. I think.
Ryan Kelly.
Meta World Peace.
Yeah, his calling was due a while ago. I think.
Yeah. The last championship, I think, was where it was.
What was that? 2010.
I think it's 2011.
No,
2010. Yes, 2010. Yeah, you're right.
I think if you're Jim Buss, you keep these guys around.
Absolutely.
You're quite a few years away from being in the playoffs at least. But relevant. You know what? That's fine. You know, you got these young guys to work with, and if you develop a guy like Russell and even further a point guard, you know what? I think you've got a pretty solid start into a whole rebuilding process. I mean, this is a team that's not even close.
No,
At least Philly has pieces. Yeah. This team doesn't have pieces.
Yeah, Philly's a puzzle that just needs to be put together. With the Lakers, you've got about 5 pieces in a 1,000-piece puzzle.
And then there's Kobe.
Yeah, well, Kobe doesn't help anything because all that Kobe does is remind the league and make everybody upset at the Lakers.
Yeah.
What did the Lakers do wrong? The Lakers organization did everything that they could. This is 3 years of injury talking and 3 years of not being able to get any free agents. You realize the last big free agent that they brought in before Kobe's injuries was Dwight Howard? Well, he wasn't a free agent, but they got him through trade.
Yeah.
But that was the last piece, the big piece that they brought in. And then he got injured that next year, and they didn't bring any free agents. See, if you just follow the trail, Kobe didn't do himself any favors. He got himself hurt, which is just bad luck. But at the end of the day, he didn't help himself. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to help yourself, you have to stay healthy.
Yeah.
You know, you have to really be healthy, and it's not his fault. It's just bad luck. But you can't blame the GM, and you can't blame the ownership group, who's desperately trying to sit there going, Tyson Chandler, we'll pay you about $50 million if you come here for a couple of years. You know, and Tyson Chandler goes, nah, I'll take $15 million and go to Phoenix.
We're looking at this draft here. If they lose that top first round pick,
I don't think they will.
I know, but
earlier in the season,
it's still a possibility, though.
It is. Oh,
there's always a chance.
The Knicks went.
You know, when you're basing picks off of odds, anything's possible.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, look at the Bulls when or the Cavs, whoever it was, when they got the first pick with a 1 point something % chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything's possible.
Absolutely.
If they fall outside the top 4,
the pick goes to Philly.
Yeah, they're screwed in this draft, I think.
They're screwed for about the next 5 years if they lose out on this.
They need to get a top 3 pick.
But I wonder who would you go after in this draft? Let's say that they get the number 2. Let's say they get the number 2 pick. Okay, let's say they get the number 2 pick, and let's say that Brandon Ingram's already off the table. Now, who do you take out of these guys?
I think you need a playmaker if the
yeah. Well, but I mean, who do you think? Like, who would you go after in this?
I know you keep ripping on them. I mean, not really ripping on them.
Oh, yeah.
But I think you got to go after a guy like Buddy Hield. This team needs offense, like immediate offensive help.
Well, but
they really do.
Look. At this point, you're looking at the draft. You say, well, probably one of the top scoring prospect is gone.
Yeah.
Buddy Hield comes in, and he's already got a pretty good relationship with Kobe.
Yeah.
And you can see some Kobe-esque things in the way that he plays. But how do you leave? But what you just said, it's a playmaker. Ben Simmons is a playmaker.
Oh,
and you realize that he's going to get every opportunity here in LA. How do you leave a guy that has that much upside to him if you can work it?
It's that whole upside thing, but then again, he's still a project.
Right, but I mean, he's playing around great guards. That's the biggest problem with most of these big guys. They're not playing with good guards. They're not playing in good ball move, ball spacing, and they're just suffocated. But you know what? Ben Simmons has 2 great point guards here, 2 pretty good scoring guards to alleviate some of the pressure. Now he's just going to be the playmaker. They need a guy who's going to make passes, who's got good vision, who can pass out of the post, who can pass out of the pick and roll. That's my only argument.
I think it's fair game with. I think it's fair game with either one of those guys.
I really do too.
You can't lose.
Yeah.
Honestly,
really
if you pick either one.
Yeah.
You know what? I know you're a little bit higher on Simmons than I am, but thinking back to that statement, I think maybe you do go with him.
Yeah. I mean,
if he is,
it's one of those things. Like, he really is. He's so young, and you figure that Philly's probably going to pass on him, so he's going to be there on the table.
I'd personally be upset at Philly if they actually take him.
I would too.
That's not what they need. That's not what they need.
No, but this is something that the Lakers need. They need a playmaker. They need somebody, a big, who they can flip it to in the post. They need not only a serviceable big, because they're beyond serviceable here. Robert Sacre is not a serviceable big. They need a serviceable big that they can work with and work on the fundamentals and get these guys going. Like, and Simmons really is that guy who can develop and become this great player in a Lakers uniform. And I just feel like he's got so much potential to do that. But he has so much work that he needs to do, and he needs to get bigger if he wants to play that power forward position. He's going to get mugged in the NBA.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think with the Lakers, they're a long time from being really good, but I think this is the guy you got to go with in the draft.
I mean, barring unbelievable free agency signing, which I can't see it happening. I can't see it either.
I don't know anybody that would want to go to LA at this point, considering who they have.
I mean,
especially a top tier guy who wants to. What top tier guy? Maybe a top 20 guy wants to go and play for this type of team.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that's the end of the Lakers, and comment and subscribe, and go ahead and like our page, and we'll be back with more.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.